Holy cow, you're getting 80% conversions? That's awful. Hey guys, my name is Jennifer Waters and I am the Sales and Systems Sensei. I help martial arts school owners jumpstart their way to bringing and generating 7 figures of revenue by teaching martial arts with our dojo scaling system and the dojo assistant. Thanks for joining me today. Hey, listen, have you ever thought that you would hear those words from somebody who's generating tons of revenue? Hey, your conversion rate is not amazing considering you're converting at 80%. Well, this is a common flaw that I actually see with a lot of clients that come to me and start working with me. And the reason why is because they're used to the industry model, which says I need to charge a low price, have lots of students, and that's how I'm gonna make my money. As opposed to, I need to charge a high price, I need to have quality students, and I need to transform and change more lives. That's actually what I teach on the inside of our 7-figure dojo program. Now, how do you actually understand what your conversion rate should be from someone walking in the door to now they have a gi on, they're paying you for your martial arts classes and your martial arts services? Like, what is the industry average? And if you are converting at 80%, what does that actually mean? Well, the first thing that it means is that your offer, your program, your membership is priced too low. If 80% of the people who are in front of you say, yes, this is the exact thing that I've been waiting for, sign me up, and there's no problems, there's no issues with enrollment or asking to speak to their spouse or having to arrange for, transportation or scheduling or something like that, it means that you really could be charging more money. In fact, I would suggest that if you're converting at 80%, you are leaving at least 60% of the revenue that you could be generating on the table. Here's why I'm saying that. When you have a very high quality, premium price for your program, you can then afford to do extra things for your students to increase that value. If you're charging a low price, that means that your classes are gonna be crowded because you have to have a huge volume in order to take care of all your other expenses. And although volume sounds great, like saying I have 700 students or 800 students sounds amazing, why is it that constantly my clients and our flagship school that I run still to this day is still able to generate more revenue from a single location with less students? It's because we charge a premium price, we have happy students, we have happy customers, and we teach quality martial arts that people are like, wow, that's what I want my kid to do. That's how I want to look as an adult training in martial arts. So here are 3 steps that you need to do if you want to calculate your conversion rate and what to do to fix it so you don't have this issue and you're no longer leaving money on the table. So the very first thing is understanding what conversion rate actually means. So simple math equation here. Let's say you have 10 people who show for an appointment. Out of those 10 people, if you had 8 of them sign up, you would have an 80% conversion rate. Now, what I typically see is when people are pricing exactly where they need to be, they're between 40 to 60% in this industry as far as closing, unless they have very poor sales ability, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. So stick around if you're like, well, I don't know, I'm already converting at 40 to 60% and I just don't think it's because I know what to do when people say I need to think about it. So hold on to that thought if that's you, because I'm gonna help you at the end of this video. But listen, if you're at 40 to 60%, that's great. If you're doing what you should, like you know all the things that you should know about how to sell your martial arts program or your team does, then that's an amazing thing because now you've found your sweet spot between 40 to 60%. It means that you're charging the right amount. It probably means that you have a premium product because half the people that come in are gonna say, I don't think I can afford this. And that's okay. You either have to qualify them on the front end and create more friction if you're getting too many leads, or you have to bring them in, do an evaluation lesson or do an introductory lesson or have them join a group class and then walk them through the steps of how they're gonna transform their life through your program. And if you can do those things and you're converting 40 to 60%, well, you know you're on the right track. But here's the second piece to this. If you're like, well, I can't raise my prices, there's no way someone would ever, pay for that level of class. Maybe that's the truth. Maybe you actually need to look at your program. You need to go, are people predictably transforming their lives? And if it's not a predictable process of transformation for them, like if you say you're helping kids with focus, but there's no actual measurement to help them with focus, or if you say that your kids are more confident, but there's no actual confidence that's gained, then it's going to be very hard to say, yes, your program works. Likewise, if you have a program that's centered around fitness or centered around self-defense, if people aren't actually able to qualify or quantify how much that they're actually receiving, it's going to be very hard for you to justify it, right? And that's where belief comes in. You see, a lot of times when we're selling our programs, we have to understand that the lead that's coming in the door, they have a certain amount of belief. And I like to think of it on a scale. So let's just say this is the low end of the scale and this is the high end of the scale. When someone is walking in the door, they're on this very low end of the scale of belief, meaning they believe you can transform their lives to an extent. What your first introductory lesson or your first interaction with them is supposed to do is move them closer along this line, that they believe 100% that you're going to transform their life. Maybe it's not 100, but you're somewhere over here in the middle or right past the middle. And that's ultimately your goal of what that what that lesson is, right? Is to help get that belief. But they can't have the belief unless you have the belief. And you can't have the belief unless you know step by step how the system works. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, what do you do if you just don't do well in the sales thing? I just got off a call earlier today with one of my clients, and in that call, the client was actually saying, okay, if I'm not this great at doing sales, why don't I get one of my team members to be great at doing sales? Because if there's for instance, when, I just feel like maybe I'm not up to par that day for doing sales, I can just tell my team member to go do it for me instead. And what my advice to this person was, to the client that I have is would you approach your martial arts training the same exact way, and would you approach your martial arts instruction the same way? And the answer was no. And I knew it was no. Like, none of us would go out and say, you know what, if I don't really feel like teaching a great class, I'm just not gonna teach a great class. No, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna teach an amazing class, no matter how we feel, no matter what obstacles come up in our path that day. We're gonna block it out, we're gonna go out and we're gonna teach a great class, because that's what our students deserve. Well, your people that are coming in the door, although they're not students yet, they're soon to be students, and they deserve your best as well. So if you're not actively practicing and role playing and working through how to best sell your program and package it in such a way that the belief scale of being over here to over here increases during that presentation, if you're not actively doing that, you're missing out on something so amazing and so transformational for your own martial arts school to be more profitable, but also for those students to take their first step in their journey in martial arts. One of the things that we do with our clients is we actually help them in this whole entire sales and systems process. A lot of people will say, here's this gimmick, here's this marketing technique, but they don't actually take the time to teach the system behind it. And just like any fancy martial arts move that you might learn in a seminar, if you don't learn the additional steps, the context behind that move, it's very hard to execute in a live situation. And it's the same thing with sales. So listen, there's another video coming out. You definitely want to make sure you subscribe to the channel, because in this video, we're going to talk about the key factor for selling more martial arts programs or memberships, and you don't want to miss that video. So I'm sure we're going to link it up here. Guys, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, be awesome.